Hey everyone, I'm JT from Ebike Escape, and in today's video, we're gonna take a very in-depth and up-close look of the new Gotrax Alpine fat tire e-bike. This is a sub $1,500 fat tire e-bike. Comes offered at just $14.99. Now, at time of filming, the bike was actually on sale for $12.99. So be sure to check the link in the description to catch this bike on sale or at its best current price. And also, if you make a purchase after clicking that link down in the description, that's a free and easy way to help support us here at Ebike Escape. Thank you guys so much in advance. And quickly, if you are not looking to make a purchase, but you do want to show support because you like these reviews and you like seeing cool e-bikes, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. That is another free and easy way that you can help us show other companies that we're people you like watching and gets us connected and reviewing cool e-bikes like this one. Now, we have not reviewed many Gotrax e-bikes, so the Alpine here is kind of my first look at one of their e-bikes. And I have to say so far, a little spoiler, a little bit impressed with the package they put together here, especially for that price point that I was talking about. But after looking into Gotrax a little bit also as a company, it's kind of nice to see that they are an American-based company based down in Texas. And another accolade for Gotrax as well as a company is that they have been making e-bikes for quite a few years now. Now, enough overview of Gotrax as a company. Let's talk specifics about the Alpine model. The Alpine model, worth noting, does come outfitted as you see it here. That means it comes with this included front rack, bottle cage, and rear rack, which will give you an up-close look of when we get to our component section. And it also comes spec'd with a 500-watt motor, which peaks a lot higher than that. We're gonna be sure to put that motor to the test up our hill climb test. And we'll also be doing some neighborhood ridings and kind of get an idea of how this bike is just to pedal around and how its overall comfort level is via its handlebars and seat. Now, the Gotrax Alpine here is offered in just this step-through model, which has this really nice low step-over height. And is also offered in 3 different colorways. We have this kind of really nice like blue. There's also a gold and a gray variant. Now, thanks to that low step over height, the Alpine has a height range of 5 foot all the way up to 6'4". Now, real quick, here's how I, a 5'7" rider with about a 29-inch inseam, look like on this bike. I can get full leg extension. I've got the seat down pretty low, but I'm very comfortable. And the Gotrax Alpine also has a weight capacity of 330 pounds. Quick note about that, that is going to be rider and cargo included in that max weight. Now, enough of an overview of the Alpine. Let's bring you in close and talk about some of the components that make up the Alpine. Starting up here in the front with probably the most essential component for a fat tire e-bike. These are gonna be the Chow Yang 26 by 4-inch fat tires here. Very nice grippy tread, gonna provide a good amount of grip for you regardless of the terrain. Getting you slowed down, we have these nut hydraulic disc brakes, as well as a 180mm front rotor. And then the front skewer here on the wheel is a bolt-on. Back up here in the front, we have this hydraulic front fork, which over here on the left-hand side has this preload knob for you to be able to tighten the spring a little bit, complete with a lockout knob on the right-hand side. Let me go ahead and give that a couple quick pushes for you. Yeah, definitely a very spring and strong front fork, like when they have the lockout and adjustment knob. And then tucked very nicely between the fender and this rear rack, we have this nice LED front headlight, which has its own button for turning on and off. This is a very bright LED front headlight. And then we have this front rack here. Now, this rack bolts on using these bolt holes here on the side of the head tube, and is a very nice front rack, pretty standard. It's got spots here for baskets. You could bolt it on here and here. And also you notice you have the max weight there of 10 kilograms. Now, typically these accessories like a front rack or even a bottle cage boss are purchasable accessories you have to purchase after the fact of the bike, but unlike other bikes, the Alpine, they are actually all included. Now, the cockpit of the Alpine here is pretty basic, but has everything that I think you need, which is gonna be, you have a hydraulic brake lever here, you have locking rubber grips, you have a push thumb throttle, your buttons and controls for the display here. And then on the right-hand side, you have this 7-speed sys index thumb shifter and matching lever and grip on the right. Now, as we move back to the center, here's your first look at this pretty nice color display. It is pretty easy to see, and you have these really large buttons over here on the side. The display has all of the important information right in front of you. Starting at the top, you have your battery information, miles per hour front and center, your pedal assist level, which of course changes as you turn it up and down. Then we have our miles per hour here, your max miles per hour here on the bottom. And then as you push this button located right here on the side display, you'll notice it cycles through. You have your average mile per hour, your current trip, and your current odometer for the bike. And then if you're not familiar as well, located over here, there's a nice rubber button here, which is how you actually turn on the headlight with a simple tap. That little light shows up on the display, and if you notice, everything dims because they assume you're gonna be riding at night. And then on the front of the button here, this is gonna be your power button for turning your bike on and off. Go ahead and turn that back on real quick. Nice startup sequence as well. And then one thing that you may wanna know is gonna be how to get into the advanced settings. Now, how do you get into the advanced settings? Hold the plus and minus button at the same time, and then you get into your advanced settings. Now you can kind of guess from the information on the screen what they do. So this is 01P, but you notice you have miles per hour there. And in order to change that lower setting, you push this upper button here and you'll jump down, and then we can change to kilometers an hour if you're in a state that uses the imperial system versus the metric. And then to change through the various settings here on the display, use the big plus and minus button. This is going to be the voltage of the bike. We're going to leave that on 48 volts. Here's where you can actually change the amount of pedal assist levels you have. You can go 1 to 3, 0 to 3, 1 to 5, 0 to 5. I tend to just leave it on what the bike comes with. Some people like a few less pedal assist levels. We're going to go ahead and leave it, like I said, on 0 to 5. This is going to be the 04 is going to be your settings for your wheel size. And then 05 is going to be maybe one that you might like, which is going to be your top speed. So from the factory, the bike comes set at 25 miles per hour, and that's going to be under pedaling power, and you cannot go above that, but you can go down if you want to set the bike to being a strict class 2 e-bike. Now, interesting thing about this 05 setting is this is going to allow you to change the classification of your e-bike. And what I mean by that, there is a federal recognition classification of e-bikes. Can be a class system. You have class 1, 2, and 3. Class 1 and 2 are very similar. They both cap out at 20 miles per hour, whether you are under pedaling or throttle power. However, a class 1 e-bike does not have a throttle, so the only way you can get power from a motor is via pedaling. Class 2 allows you to have a throttle but still have that 20 mile per hour cap. And then class 3 e-bike is 20 mile per hour cap under throttle power. And then when you pedal, you can go above that to speeds up to 28 miles per hour. So with that understanding in mind, the Alpine here comes shipped as a class 3 e-bike because it has a throttle and has a top speed of 25 miles per hour. But if you live in a place that has a strict class 2 rating and somebody that's going to be checking e-bikes, be sure to change that setting. And also, quick caveat that I say anytime I talk about speed of e-bikes, be sure to ride responsibly regardless of where you are. Everybody out there sees an e-bike and they just assume all e-bikers are the same, or anybody that's riding an e-bike is the same, and they can quickly lose trail access if there's one person out there not maybe riding responsibly or respecting the other riders and people utilizing the trail around you. Now back to the settings, there was one more that I wanted to show you here, which is going to be number 06, which is going to be a password. Now, interesting thing about this setting is you can turn on a password for when you start up the e-bike. As there are no keys required for starting your e-bike, having that ability to set a startup password is very nice. It doesn't allow you to just hop on and ride, but does add that extra level of potential safety. And then after that, you're back to 01. And then once you want to lock in your settings, you simply do that by holding the power button. The bike will turn off and all of those settings are locked in and saved. And then as we move down the down tube here, you'll see this really nice Gotrax branding, as well as a look at the included bottle cage. And then here are the only two bosses located on this entire frame section. So if you don't like where this bottle cage is mounted, you cannot move it anywhere else. That is where a product we sell in our store, shop.ebikeescape.com, comes in handy, which is going to be this ABC cage with this included Velcro strap. Just gives you a little bit extra adjustability. Nice product that we, like I said, that we sell at our store. And as we come in here at the bottom of the frame here, you will notice this charging port. This is so the battery can be charged both on or off the bike. Let me go ahead and pull the battery out for you. First step to any battery removable, locate your keys and locate where the keys go. Quick word of warning, the keys do not go down here in this charging port. There actually is no exposed place where the keys go. I'll show you where that goes in just a second. First thing you actually have to do is remove this plastic cover here on the downside of the frame, which you do by pushing down on this little lever here and pulls it down, and then you simply slide the panel up and off as it has little ledges here, or little feet that it catches on. And then once you have that off, that is where you expose where the keys go. Give me a spot up here on the frame. I'll put a picture on the screen now for you. And what you do is you take your keys, insert them in there, turn the top of the key towards the driver's side. The battery will click down you'll hear it. And then there is actually a safety latch, which stops it from falling immediately out of the bike, which is nice to see. And once you have that safety latch held down, you simply pull the key down. I like to remove the keys as they kind of get in the way, and also turn your tire a little bit, because like any fat tire you bike, when the battery is located on the bottom, you're kind of fighting for space to get your battery out. Once you have your battery removed, here's where you get your first look at it. And here is that safety latch I was referring to, which stops the battery from falling out, right next to your 4 LED charge status. And then on the bottom here, here's a look at your plug where it connects to the bike, and your charging port for when you want to charge your battery off your bike. And then over here on the side, here's a look at our product tag. This is a Tau battery, 48 volt, 13.5 amp hour battery, which Gotrax estimates you have a range of about 50 miles from this battery. I think realistically, the range is going to be, if you take that 13.5 number and double it, somewhere in the 20 to 25 mile range, depending on how much throttle you use, of course. And if you're going to be transporting your battery around and you have it out, we always recommend our bike case travel battery bag here, which this is the small, your battery fits nicely into it. This is water and flame resistant, and it is like a dry top bag where once you get it in, roll the top over, buckle it on, and you've got yourself a nice little carrying handle there. Nice way to transport your battery, stops them from getting banged around. Now to put the battery back into your bike, you line up those ports on the bottom first, and you put the bottom in. You see it kind of sets in there, and then you just give the battery a good push, get a nice click. I always like to give it a little push to make sure it's not moving around or wiggling around in there. Make sure it's fully latched in, and don't forget your plastic protective panel here. Moving back in down from the battery, here's a look at our Tracy Zoo metal pedals. We have a nice kickstand located back out of the way, a rear nut brake, and 180 millimeter front rotor. And then here is a look at the rear bike rack that, again, like I said, comes included and even has a tail light located here on the back. This rear rack has a weight capacity of 25 kilograms. And that tail light, thanks to the motor cutoffs, operates as a brake light. As we come around to the passenger side of the bike, here's where we get our first look at the motor and drivetrain. This is a Gotrax branded motor. It is listed as a 500 watt motor, 7-speed Shimano drivetrain. Now this is a 14 to 28 tooth rear freewheel, and it utilizes the Shimano tourney rear derailleur, which is definitely on the entry level of derailleurs. And then if we follow this chain up here to the front, we get some nice Alpine branding. Here's where we have a 48 tooth plastic double-sided chain ring here. Just above the chain ring here, here's a look at this information tag, which will be a little difficult to see here on camera, but it has all the information with top speed, weight capacity, and everything like that that you may need to know about your bike. A little bit of colored branding there, and then here is a look at the Gotrax branded saddle. Now this is a pretty soft saddle, has a little bit wider base than your traditional standard bike seat, but it is still a standard bike seat. Now if you're looking for adding a little bit of comfort to any e-bike, we always recommend a suspension seat post. We do sell one of those in our shop.ebikeescape.com store as well. We call it the game changer accessory, and that is for a good reason. And that seat pretty much wraps up the entire componentry that makes up the Gotrax Alpine. So how does it ride, and will it make it up our hill climb test? Let's find out. All right, here we are at the first person riding portion. This is going to be the part of the video where we'll show you what all of that componentry that you just learned about comes together to give you what kind of pedaling experience. So starting out here, I like to talk about how the bike is to pedal. No complaints. Handlebars put you in a nice upright riding position. Getting on and off the bike is very easy with the step-through design. The seat is pretty comfortable, albeit to some people, they may find themselves wanting a little bit more cush or comfort. Like I said, please check out that suspension seat post. Game-changing accessory, I do have to say. The shifter is pretty nice. The grips are not too cushy. They're just kind of basic grips. Even the shifter is kind of basic. I do prefer the underhand thumb shifters versus the overhand cis index like this. The thumb throttle is pretty nice though, because it gives me the ability to just kind of use my thumb to get going. Although I do know some people complain about longer rides, their thumbs kind of hurting a little bit from doing that. Speaking of throttle, let's go ahead and start this riding portion out with a top speed test via throttle power alone. So we'll bring the bike all the way to a stop here. Now I went ahead and shifted all the way up to pedal to level 5, although it doesn't really matter. Give myself a little throttle here to get off the line. And the bike very quickly, 9, 11, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then immediately once you hit that 20 miles an hour, I can feel the bike kind of backing off your power. So the 500 watt motor that this bike has, very capable. It definitely feels a lot faster than that in practice here. So now let's go ahead and back down the pedal assist levels all the way down to pedal assist level 1, and we'll go ahead and shift down to first gear. right, now I've shifted all the way down to first gear and pedal assist level 1. And I'm just kind of getting my legs going, tripping that cadence sensor, not a torque sensor. So it's just going to be like an on-off switch. And here we go, flat ground, just no pressure on my legs here. And the bike almost instantly gets me to 10 miles an hour. So I do think that the pedal assist levels on this bike are going to be speed limited, meaning that it's going to get you to a set top speed and then kind of just hold you there. So first gear, just pedaling very easily. I would have to shift up second, third, probably even fourth here before I like the amount of resistance on my legs and it feels, you know, natural, like I'm actually providing some of my own power here. And looks like we're going to settle in nicely around about 11 miles an hour. Shifting up, pedal assist level 2, and the bike, same amount of pressure on my legs here. Yeah, maybe feels like I could probably shift up here to 5th on the shifter. Looks like we're about settling in about 12, 13 miles an hour. There we go. The GPS is a little bit more accurate, but they do appear to be really close to the actual reading that we're getting from the bike. See, about 13 miles an hour, pedal assist level 2 in gear 5 here. Shifted up, pedal assist level 3. Instantly feel a bit more power come on. 14, 15 miles an hour here. And still feel a decent amount of pressure on my legs. I'd probably stay in about this gear for this pedal assist level. Pedal assist level 4 here. Now I'm getting to ghost pedaling with my legs again. 17, 18, I'd shift up to 6th. Yeah, it looks like about 18, almost 19 miles an hour here. Yeah, there we go, 19 miles an hour. Flipping right there between. And don't mind the pressure on my legs. I would probably, I'd leave it here. So 6th, pedal assist level 4, now pedal assist level 5. Top pedal assist level, let's see what. Yeah, the bike almost cruises right past 20 miles an hour here. And I'm instantly ghost pedaling. I would shift up to 7th here on the gearing. And 24, 25 miles an hour. And my legs are, I'm ghost pedaling at this point. No resistance on my legs. All I'm doing is spinning them to keep that pedal sensor engaged. And that's going to be because of that rear gearing. So that 14 to 28 tooth, that 14, that smaller chain gear in the back, being that it is a 14 and not like an 11 like we've seen on other bikes, at speeds of about 22 to 23 miles an hour is where you stop being able to provide your own power. So if you're riding in pedal assist level 5, trying to ride at some of those faster speeds, you will be relying almost entirely on the motor power alone to keep you and hold you there. So that's what this bike is like and capable of on flat ground. How does it do up our hill climb test? Let's go find out. All right, made it to the bottom of our hill climb test. Go ahead and test this Alpine up, hop onto the seat. Anybody not familiar with our reviews? First time up, I'm gonna do this on throttle power alone. We'll put the specs for the hill on the screen now so you have an idea of how steep this hill actually is. And maybe you can compare it to a hill in your area and see if it's capable of conquering that hill as well. So here we are on our way up. Looks like pretty steadily dropping to about 10 miles per hour here. Definitely feel the motor slogging down, although it feels pretty set in there at 10 miles an hour. Now, the throttle part of this test of the hill climb is really the more grueling part of the test because I'm not providing any power. So it has to carry me, a 225-pound rider, and the weight of the bike itself up this hill. And this is a 26-inch, obviously, fat tire bike, which means it's got a little bit more tire to keep going. So here we are, 7 miles an hour. It feels like it's going to set in. We're past the steepest part of the hill. Yep, it's going to start picking up speed now. So now we're going to go up immediately almost to 8-9 miles an hour. So capable, made it up. Low speed was about 7 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and loop this back around, go down, and I'll come back up while pedaling. But on my way down here, I do like to give the brakes a good test. Now, Nuts hydraulic disc brakes, we have seen this brand on other bikes, but are they capable? Let's see, 30 miles an hour. Go ahead and get those brakes going. Rear's almost locking up there. There we go. 10. Oh, almost complete stop there. Very nice. Get some throttle here. Get off the line. Get up to, see if we can get up to like 21, 22, 24 miles an hour there. And there we go. I almost think it stopped a little better that second time. Now, one thing I have found with cheaper or more budget-oriented hydraulic disc brakes from some brands is that they don't tend to stop as well in the second, third, and even fourth time the brakes will overheat. So these nut brakes did not. They performed just as we expected. All right, now we're back down at the bottom. Let me go ahead and shift all the way to first gear and pedal assist level 1 here. Go ahead and come to a stop here. And now we are going to take off try and pedal up. So here we go. Yeah, bike almost instantly gives me a good amount of power, up to 7, 8, 9 miles an hour there. And yeah, I'm not feeling too much pressure on my leg. I could probably shift up to about second gear there. And yeah, that's just probably more pressure than I would like on my leg. So I would probably shift down there back to first gear here on the shifter, pedal level 1. See, it looks like 7, 8 miles an hour. See if we get any more power when we kick it up pedal level 2. Felt the bike kick up a little bit more. It almost, same tension on my legs, and I'm getting up to 8, 9 miles an hour. Pedal level 3. Maybe even felt a little bit more power come on there. It looks like 9, 10 miles an hour. I'd actually probably almost shift up to second here on the shifter. Pedal level 4. I didn't feel any more power there. I felt like it was pretty much set, but we're going to do it about 10 miles an hour here. 9, 10. And same thing, pedal level 5, didn't feel any more power, but did feel a little bit more power come in through the pedal assist levels, and now we're at the top. So where the bike is just going to take off. So if you want a little bit higher top speeds while climbing, definitely going to benefit from pedaling on your own. But if you, for some reason, don't feel like pedaling, it will make it up under the power of the throttle itself. All right, and that is the last test we're going to put the Gotrax Alpine through. Let's go and throw to some third-person riding footage, and I will give you some reasons you should and should not consider the Gotrax Alpine.
The Gotrax Alpine is a solid and capable choice for a fat tire e-bike. It's comparable to many other big bike brands in this class, albeit with a slightly better price at around $14.99. Although do remember to check the link down in the description. Hopefully you can catch the Alpine on sale. Now, how does Gotrax do this? It's going to be by targeting a specific gap in the market and offering what it can for that price. But that does come with a few sacrifices. What exactly? Well, let's get into it. The Alpine uses a tried and true frame design and integrated battery, not a unique design to Gotrax, but one that is proven and feels modern. It does come offered in multiple colors, but does only come in a single step through frame option and a single size, which we call the one size fits most. And furthering the appeal of the Alpine, it also comes outfitted with a front rack, rear rack, and a bottle cage, which are absolutely nice touches and items that we see being required to be purchased separately from other bikes. And another thing worth noting is that the overall weight capacity is 300 to 330 pounds. We typically see a 400-pound total payload capacity here. I mentioned an integrated battery before. It's a very nice styling touch. That battery sports a capacity of 13.5 amp hours, which is a bit on the lower side of what we see from other fat tire e-bikes, but overall, the average for this price point, 15 amp hours is really the median for battery capacity. The battery is also missing a UL certification, which most major brands have at this point undergone. The motor is a very capable 500-watt motor that peaks much higher than that. It was able to carry me, a 225-pound rider, up our hill climb. Albeit a bit slow, it definitely still made it. And when on flat ground, the motor felt great up until 25 miles per hour, where it felt a bit out of power. Now, to be fair, the Alpine is advertised to have a top speed of 25 miles per hour. The 14 to 28 tooth rear freewheel leaves you ghost pedaling past 20 to 23 miles per hour, something that can easily be solved with an 11 to 28 tooth gear set. But besides that gearing choice, it's worth noting that the pedal assist and overall pedal experience was nice and smooth. The bike was well tuned and didn't feel jerky or really rocket you up to speeds like we've seen on other similarly priced fat tire e-bikes. Completing the package, the Alpine comes with Shimano components and hydraulic disc brakes. The derailleur and shifter are Tourney and Cis, which are the most budget options that Shimano offers, as well as the hydraulic disc brakes are from a brand called Nut, which perform great and used to be a lot more common. Tektro brakes have really become a standard here. Now, have you noticed a theme here yet? Gotrax made some very smart, price-conscious choices on the Alpine, all aimed at making it a great middle-of-the-list option for fat tire e-bikes, meaning they know they have a solid offering, but also know that this is going to leave some buyers wanting a bit more. I think this is in part why Gotrax also offers their Tundra model, which improves on a lot of the points that I made. Link in the description below if you do decide to make a purchase. Doing so after clicking that link is a free and easy way to support us here at E-Bike Escape. Thank you all so much for the support. So if you're looking for a solid middle-of-the-road fat tire e-bike, the Gotrax Alpine is a solid choice. While not really excelling massively on everything, it does everything well enough. 90% of all riders out there are just going to be using their fat tire e-bikes for road or crushed gravel paths, so they don't need the capabilities of maybe a far more expensive model. So what do you think? Did Gotrax make some smart choices to keep the price down, or would you rather spend a couple hundred extra for the higher spec model? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to ride safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.